Ladies and gentlemen, you've been lied to since the day you were born. Everything they taught you, school, media, society, was never designed to make you successful. It was designed to make you obedient. Weak, broke, compliant. From the moment you enter the education system, they train you to be an employee. Sit down, don't speak, memorize useless facts, obey authority, follow the rules, never question the system. Never learn how money works, never be dangerous, never lead. They tell you to get good grades so you can get into a good college, so you can land a safe job. But ask yourself, what's safe about living paycheck to paycheck for 40 years, relying on a pension that might not exist, and hoping inflation doesn't eat away at your savings? That's not safety. That's slow death. And you're sold that lie wrapped in a graduation cap and a $100 zeros, 00 student loan. They didn't teach you credit. They didn't teach you compound interest. They didn't show you how to open a business, negotiate deals, build networks, or understand how power really operates. Because if you knew, if you truly understood the game, you'd stop playing it on your knees. You'd stop working 60 hours a week to make another man rich. You'd stop watching the clock and start building your empire. They want you broke because broke people don't cause problems. Broke people don't challenge the system. Broke people are too busy surviving to question anything. The man working 3 jobs to feed his kids doesn't have time to read about real estate, investments, or how the monetary system is rigged. He's just trying to make it to Friday. He's exactly where they want him. Tired, distracted, and powerless. Understand this, real power begins with financial independence, and financial independence starts with truth. The truth that the school system isn't a roadmap to success, it's a factory for creating compliant workers. The truth that the media doesn't educate at programs. You are told to admire athletes and actors, to envy celebrities, to chase likes instead of value. But where are the men teaching you how to own land, scale income, build discipline, and dominate your space? Nowhere, because that kind of knowledge makes you uncontrollable. If you're strong, self-reliant, and rich, you don't beg, you don't obey, you don't bend, you build your own world, you fund your own mission. You protect your family without needing permission from a boss or a government check, and that terrifies the system. Let me tell you something they'll never say out loud. The entire system is built to create dependency. Dependency on jobs, on government, on banks, on prescriptions, on fake validation. Why? Because dependency is control, and control is power. If you've ever felt like something was off, like you're meant for more, like the rules don't make sense, it's because you were never meant to be a pawn. But they trained you like one anyway. They gave you just enough education to follow orders, just enough comfort to numb your ambition, and just enough fear to keep you locked in place. But here's the harsh truth. They don't force you to stay broke. You do that to yourself. Because once you realize the truth, once your eyes are open, you have 2 options. You can keep playing dumb, blaming the world, and living like a victim, or you can go to war with your weakness, with your distractions, with your excuses, and start building. And that war starts with knowledge, real education, not school, not propaganda. I'm talking about financial intelligence, business strategy, self-discipline, time control, emotional resilience. That's what separates the broke from the rich. The weak from the powerful, the spectators from the kings. The moment you wake up to how deep the manipulation goes, the moment you realize how hard they worked to keep you weak, is the moment you become dangerous. And when a man becomes dangerous, when he becomes focused, educated, and relentless, he becomes free. They want you broke so you never reach that moment, so your dreams stay dreams, so your family stays stuck. So you stay average, but you weren't born to be average. You were born to lead, and leaders don't play by the rules of slaves. So start reading what matters. Start moving like your life depends on it, because it does. Invest in yourself like your future bloodline is on the line, because it is. Unlearn their lies, replace them with power. Start seeing through the fog and move like a man with a mission, because the truth is clear now. They want you broke, because a broke man is easy to control. But the awakened man, the man who refuses to be broken, he's unstoppable. Let's get one thing straight. You're not free. You think just because you don't wear shackles or sleep in a cell that you're not a slave. But modern slavery isn't about whips and chains anymore. It's about contracts, paychecks, taxes, and fear. They found a way to trap you without ever needing to physically restrain you. Because if they control your time, your money, and your mind, they already own you. The modern world has convinced you that working a 9-to-5 job until you're 65 is the responsible thing to do. They praise you for spending the best years of your life sitting in traffic, answering emails, obeying your boss, waiting for weekends like a thirsty dog waiting for water. They've told you that you're lucky to have a job, but ask yourself, who is that job really serving? You give 40 hours a week, often more, to a company that would replace you in a heartbeat. You break your back building someone else's dream while your own goals rot away in a pile of excuses. You wake up early to serve another man's vision and go to bed broke, unfulfilled, and tired. That's not living. That's indentured servitude dressed up in a shirt and tie. They've disguised the plantation. The cubicle is the new cotton field, the coffee machine is your ration, and your manager, that's your modern-day overseer keeping you productive just enough to meet deadlines but never enough to build freedom. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Your job is the leash and your paycheck is the bait. It's just enough money to keep you coming back, but never enough to let you break free. They give you promotions, not power. They offer you raises, not freedom, because if you became free, if you learned how to make money on your terms, you'd walk away from their system in an instant, and they know that. That's why they train you from childhood to be an employee, not a creator. Nobody in school teaches you how to monetize skills, invest in cash-flowing assets, or build scalable income. Instead, they feed you nonsense like get good grades so you can get a good job. You ever ask yourself why good job is the goal? It's because that's the role you're supposed to play, worker, not warrior. They want you clocking in, they want you dependent, because the second you have to ask for time off to go on vacation, you've already lost. The second you wait for payday to buy groceries, they've already won. You're not a man, you're a managed asset, and the truth is the system doesn't care about your dreams, it cares about your labor, and let's not even talk about taxes. You think you're earning money, but the government takes a huge cut before you even see your paycheck. You work for them first, then you pay your bills, then you might have a few scraps left over. That's modern economic slavery. And you celebrate it like it's normal. Now let me ask you, when do you win? When does the man working 40 years for a pension he might not live to enjoy finally catch a break? You don't. Not unless you break out of the system entirely. Not unless you wake up, realize you've been lied to, and start playing a different game. The real winners don't trade time for money. They trade skills, assets, and influence. They build systems that make money while they sleep. They understand that time is the most valuable currency, and they refuse to waste it building someone else's empire. So what's stopping you? Fear, comfort, laziness. You've been told that stepping out on your own is risky, while grinding away at a job you hate for decades is somehow safe. But here's the truth, safety is an illusion. The only security in life comes from being so good, so resourceful, and so self-sufficient that no one can ever control you again. You need to become anti-fragile. Untouchable, recession. Proof, the kind of man who doesn't flinch when his boss yells, because he doesn't have a boss. The kind of man who doesn't fear job cuts, because he owns his time and his income streams. That's real power, that's real freedom, and you won't get there waiting for HR to approve your overtime or praying for your annual raise. You get there by becoming dangerous, by developing elite skills, adopting elite habits, and thinking like a producer, not a pawn. Start by asking yourself this: if your job disappeared tomorrow, how long would you survive? If the answer terrifies you, that means you're not free. So break the cycle, break the leash, learn the rules of the money game, and rewrite your own. You weren't born to be a cog, you weren't built for a cubicle, you are a man, a provider, a warrior, and it's time you started living like one, because if you don't, if you keep believing in the myth of security, you'll wake up one day old, broke, bitter, and full of regret. And they'll still win, not because they were smarter, but because you refuse to break your chains. Let's get something very clear. Comfort is the biggest trap in your life. It's not failure, it's not rejection, it's not even poverty, it's comfort. Because when a man is comfortable, he stops growing. He becomes soft, weak, emotionally neutered, spiritually empty. Comfort is the silent killer of greatness. It doesn't hurt you all at once. It slowly decays your drive. It sedates your hunger. It makes you accept average like it's a gift. Society wants you addicted to comfort because comfortable men don't rise. Comfortable men don't revolt. Comfortable men scroll, snack, and sleep. And that's exactly the type of man the system loves. Harmless, distracted, and docile. Look around. You're being bombarded with cheap dopamine on demand. Fast food on every corner. Porn in your pocket. Entertainment on every screen. They've designed a world where you can live your entire life on autopilot and never achieve anything meaningful. They'll say, relax, you deserve it. No, you don't. You haven't earned rest. You haven't earned peace. You haven't conquered anything yet. You're just surviving, like billions of others, floating through life like a feather in the wind. That's not life. That's decay in slow motion. Every time you hit snooze on your alarm, every time you order junk instead of cooking real food, every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you're reinforcing weakness. That's how men become slaves to pleasure, by making micro decisions that kill their future. Understand this. You are either building strength or feeding weakness with every action. You think you're in control because you have Netflix, snacks, and soft pillows. That's not freedom. That's sedation. They don't need to cage you anymore. They just need to keep you entertained. Comfort is the new cage, and here's the real trap. They give you just enough comfort to keep you docile, but not enough to make you fulfilled. You're comfortable enough not to panic, but not fulfilled enough to rise. That zone, that middle ground between chaos and greatness, that's hell, and most people leave there until they die. Ask yourself, when was the last time you were truly uncomfortable? When was the last time you did something difficult, painful, or terrifying, and kept doing it until you mastered it? If you can't remember, you're already behind. Discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. Think of anything great in life. It was born through pain. Muscle is built through pain. Businesses are built under stress. Warriors are forged in hardship. If you're avoiding discomfort, you're avoiding your own evolution. They want you to stay on the couch. They want you numb and comfortable and complacent because a man chasing comfort is easy to control. He's not a threat. He's not a leader. He's just another consumer, clicking next episode, eating garbage, avoiding the mirror. But there's a reason discomfort feels like war, because it's where you level up. That early morning cold shower that shocks your system, that brutal gym session when your muscles scream, that moment you choose the hard conversation, the risk, the rejection, the unknown. That's where real men are made. You don't need motivation. You need standards. You need a code that says, I don't skip workouts. I don't hit snooze. I don't eat like a peasant. I don't waste time scrolling when I should be learning. I live by discipline, not by mood. And the man who can embrace discomfort, who can run toward it when others run away, becomes untouchable. Because discomfort is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You either suffer now with purpose, or suffer later with regret. You choose. When you understand that, you stop chasing ease, you start chasing growth, you stop asking what's easy, and start asking what makes me stronger. You become the kind of man who doesn't fold under pressure, he performs under it. Look around, 99% of men are soft, out of shape, addicted to comfort, living for dopamine hits and weekend escapes, but not you. You're done with comfort. You're done being average. You're ready to step into discomfort like it's your training ground, because it is. Your greatest enemy is not pain. It's the lie that life should be easy. That lie has ruined more men than poverty, heartbreak, or war ever could. So burn the mattress if you have to. Cancel the subscription. Cut the poison, reject everything that makes you passive. Comfort is the luxury of kings, not peasants, and right now you haven't earned it. Discomfort is the rent you pay for strength, for power, for legacy. So pay the price daily, sweat for it, bleed for it, because on the other side of that pain is the man you were born to become. If you want freedom, real freedom, you need two things: money and discipline. That's it. Everything else is a distraction. Every excuse, every complaint, every what if you have is irrelevant if you don't master these two weapons. Money gives you the ability to walk away. Discipline gives you the ability to build it. Without either, you're not a man. You're a dependent. They lied to you about money. They told you that wanting it is greedy. They told you to be realistic, that chasing it makes you materialistic. But the truth is, money is the ultimate weapon in modern warfare. Money controls access, money buys time, money buys options, and in a world designed to limit you, money is how you bend reality in your favor. Every single law, luxury, protection, and opportunity you want in life, money is the gateway. You think freedom is having a passport. Freedom is being able to say no to a 9 to 5. Freedom is being able to protect your family without asking permission. Freedom is walking into a room and not needing to impress anyone, because you own your time, your income, and your future. You want to help your mother, help your family, give your kids a better life. That takes money. Not tears, not good intentions, not prayers, money. But here's the truth most men never understand. Money doesn't chase laziness. It doesn't show up because you hope. It shows up because you grind. It shows up when you move like a savage, when you stop wasting your time on video games and gossip, and start attacking your life like a general on the battlefield. And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the foundation of every empire. Without it, you're just another man with wasted potential. Without it, you'll read 100 motivational quotes and still be broke. Discipline is waking up when no one is watching. It's saying no to temporary pleasure. It's sacrificing comfort for greatness over and over again until you win. You think motivation is enough. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. It's what keeps you going when the excitement dies, when the world laughs at your dreams, when your bank account mocks you, when your friends say, "Take it easy, bro." That's when most men quit. But the disciplined man, he doubles down, he becomes a machine, a weapon. You have to become that man. You have to break free from being emotionally reactive, weak, and dependent on someone else telling you when to wake up, what you're worth, and when you can rest. That's what the world wants. A domesticated male, quiet, soft, harmless, but let me tell you this. Nobody respects a man who can't control himself. Not women, not other men, not even the mirror. You need to earn your own respect before you demand it from anyone else. And respect is earned through action, through discipline, through doing the things most men are too lazy to do. While they scroll, you study. While they party, you build. While they complain, you execute. That's the gap, and that's where you win. Now listen carefully. Money without discipline is chaos. You'll lose it just as fast as you make it. You'll buy nonsense, impress fools, and end up right back where you started, broke, bitter, and blaming everyone else. But discipline without money, that's slavery. You'll be the hardest working man at a job you hate, a proud worker bee, grinding every day with nothing to show for it but exhaustion. You need both. One is the engine. The other is the fuel, so start learning skills that pay. Learn how to sell, market, build, close, invest, negotiate. Stop chasing degrees, start chasing value. In a digital world, there's no excuse to be broke. You have access to more tools than any generation before you, but you use them for entertainment instead of elevation. Change that today. Use your mornings for growth. Use your evenings for execution. Track your time like it's currency, because it is, and never forget, the man who controls his habits controls his future. Discipline gives you the power to say no to weakness and yes to dominance. Money gives you the ability to live life on your terms. Together, they make you a force of nature. They don't want you to know this. They don't want you to master this, because a man with money and discipline, he doesn't kneel, he doesn't obey, he builds his own kingdom and destroys anything that tries to cage him. Every man walking this earth has a mission to protect, to provide, and to lead, but most of you forgot that. Or worse, you never even realized it. You think you were born just to survive, just to pay bills and scroll TikTok, just to waste your 20s partying, your 30s catching up, and your 40s full of regret. No, you were born to carry weight, to carry the burden your family can't, to carry the vision your ancestors never saw, to become the foundation that your future bloodline stands on. Let me be brutally honest. No one's coming to save you. Not your boss, not your government, not your girlfriend. If your family's hungry, if your mother needs help, if your siblings look lost, it's on you. You are the safety net. You are the rescue plan. You are the answer. And every time you hit snooze, every time you say I'm tired, every time you waste another day chasing pleasure, you're failing them. You're letting them carry pain they weren't built to carry because you refuse to step into your role as a man. You think you're unlucky. You think the world is against you. No, the world is testing you. It's asking, will you rise or will you fold? And right now you've got two choices. Either you keep playing victim and watch your family stay stuck, or you switch your mindset to everything is my fault. Even the things I didn't cause, that's not blame, that's ownership, and ownership is where all power begins. They want you broke because a broke man is too busy surviving to lead. A broke man is too busy chasing small wins to see the bigger war. He can't protect his woman, can't teach his son, can't retire his mother. He's just trying to make it through the month, but you're going to be different. You're going to be the first man in your family to break the chain. The first one to step out of mediocrity and say, it ends with me. The first one to create a life so powerful, so focused, so rich in value, that the next 3 generations feel the impact of your decisions today. That's what legacy is, not money alone. Legacy is being the man everyone in your family points to and says, because of him, we have options. Because of him, we're free. Do you understand what that means? Do you realize how few men ever reach that level? And not because they couldn't, but because they wouldn't wake up earlier, they wouldn't delay gratification, they wouldn't take risks, face rejection, sacrifice pleasure, or invest in themselves. They chose ease and their family paid the price, but you're not going to do that. You're going to develop skills that pay. You're going to train your body and sharpen your mind. You're going to study wealth, power, influence, leadership, because that's your job. Not just for you, but for the ones watching you silently, praying you make it because they don't have the strength to go first. You are the chosen one, the one the bloodline has been waiting for, and you don't get to quit. Your little brother is watching, your mother is aging, your future kids are counting on decisions you haven't even made yet. What you do today, how you eat, how you think, how you move, how you lead, is already shaping their destiny. And if you fail, if you give up, slack off, make excuses, then you pass the curse down to them. The same curse of poverty, weakness, fear, and dependence that destroyed millions of men before you. And you'll know deep down that you had the chance to end it, but didn't. So no, this isn't just about you. This isn't just about money or flexing online. This is about building an unshakable foundation of strength and freedom that your family stands on for generations. Be the last broke man in your family. Be the last excuse maker. Be the last one living under someone else's rules, because the second you become strong, mentally, financially, emotionally, you become the shield. You take the hits so they don't have to. You fight battles they'll never even see, and you do it without complaint, because you're built for this. They want you broke because a broke man has no legacy, but the man who rises, the one who says enough, who takes responsibility, who transforms pain into power, he becomes immortal. You were born for that, so stop wasting time. Your family is waiting.